Welcome back. We're going to switch gears and we're going to change from talk about national politics to something local. And Ron, if you want to bring us up to date on what your feelings on the school board race is.
We're down to a point now where everybody's saying it's a 4-3 vote. And we're talking about personalities. We're talking about if one person changes, that changes the dynamics and becomes 4-3. I look at this race as a toss-up race because there's a lot of good candidates. I'm not so sure you won't have at least 3 new candidates win on the school board race for 4 positions.
Okay, well, we have Dr. Hardings is not running, so
Right.
we have an open seat. We have Donna Brightman and Wayne Roddenauer, which are incumbents. And then with that list, we have Peter Bickford, Al Martin, Linda Murray, Melissa Williams, who is an incumbent, and Stan Stauffer. So you just said that you think there's going to be 3 fresh faces.
I think there can be 3 fresh faces because both sides are equally as fault. Don't blame it all on one side in this particular case. Don't say that the 4 sides always right and the 3 sides always wrong or vice versa.
But
there
you know,
is
we talked
an
in
issue.
break. When we talked in break, we were discussing about there's too much divisiveness.
Yes.
Okay, we're worrying about too many finger pointings going back and forth
Yes.
instead of trying to work together. And you know, we'll follow up on the Karen Harshman thing here in a minute or two. But in this regard, with the 3 new faces, who do you think are the viable chances for 3 new faces?
I think Al Martin has got a very strong chance. I think you have Peter Bickford has a very strong point, and we talked here a couple weeks ago. This Linda Murray's like come out of nowhere, and I'm extremely impressed with her knowledge, with her calm demeanor, with her willingness to work with people. And you've got Stan Stauffer. I just see incumbents having a very difficult time, regardless of which side of the coin they're on, of winning in this school board election.
Now, see, we had a couple of we had the 7 candidates speak to us at our Rotary Club. So that gave us a little bit of insight that was different than the chamber and the other forums that we've had through communities. And I know I have a couple of Rotarians sitting beside me, so maybe they'll chime in and give us some opinions. Aaron, were you there for?
I was there for the final 3, but I
final
was there
3.
for all
Me
the
too.
chamber ones.
Okay.
To what Ron was saying, the divisiveness is what is turning people off on this election. People say, "Oh, the school board," because they read about it in the paper, and every candidate that again focuses on bridging that divide between the 2 sides of the coin will have a successful night on November 8th, because people are sick of hearing about the school board. The school board should not be a point of contention. The school board should be about running our school system.
Absolutely. And what kind of example is that setting for the students in the schools? I mean, it seems like every other day there's some article in the paper about how so-and-so did this and said that and allegedly, did that. And it's just really unfortunate. It doesn't set a very good example.
Okay, I haven't heard anyone give us any names on who they think
Oh,
will
I
go.
have some. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm actually in agreement with you. I think Peter Bickford has a really good chance. I've also Donna Brightman and Al Martin, I think, are going to play a big role.
Yeah, I think Wayne Roddenauer has a strong following, as does Donna Brightman. I think they're probably safe in that role. I think possibly with Melissa Williams, she might be traded out for Stan Stauffer, and Al Martin and Peter Bickford, I think, are probably going to they'll tussle out. I'm not sure if Linda Murray has enough name recognition in the community, like Peter does, and Al through all his activities over the years to get over the hump. But it should be fairly interesting. But we also have the little thing that's swirling around a newspaper right now with Facebook posts and people not recanting and making allegations falsely. Where if Karen Harshman were to leave, okay, whether it's under her own her own power or she's removed, where do you think we're going to come up with the next candidate? Do you think it's going to be the next popular vote getter, or do you think they're going to reach out and try to find somebody else to?
Well, I wish it would have been the next popular vote getter, because in the last county commissioner election, when I came into it late, I was the next highest vote getter, but I wasn't considered to be.
Everyone loves the
However,
underdog, right?
However, that's
Yes.
more partisan than the local school board, which is nonpartisan.
That's correct, and you're 100% correct. And what happens there with Karen? I think Karen had a stroke of genius when she voted to send to have her name go down. I'm not convinced Karen Harshman's going to be taken off of the school board. I'm not convinced that the things they charged her with that they can prove that she did, because to me, they have the total wrong charges of what she was charged with in the document. So I think she went along with it. And I'm anxious to see what the State Board of Education
I
does.
think it's going to be really curious.
I'm with Ron there. I seriously doubt that she'll be removed. The mere act of removing an elected official from office is not something that the state board's going to take lightly, and it's not something that any of us should take lightly, regardless of the politics involved in it.
Okay. Well, let's switch over to city politics. We have 2 mayors who are running for one mayor position. Okay, Bob Brucey and current mayor David Geisberts. Ron, I think I sort of know where you're going to come in, but I'm going to hand this one off to Daniel right now and see what you have to think.
Thank you. Well, I grew up with Bob Brucey as mayor. I am so dorky. I used to watch the show on TV of the council meetings every week.
Okay.
So I grew up seeing Bob, and I support him in this one. I like what he has to say about tourism and bringing that back to our city. His acknowledgement of crime being a reality and not necessarily a perception, and his his plans on fixing that, as well as his opinions on being fiscally responsible. The cultural trail is one of his hot topics, and us spending over $2 million on.
But
on this
Bob
city.
is also an advocate for building a baseball stadium.
I'm okay with that,
Right,
and
but-
I'm perfectly okay with that.
Okay.
Right, but how popular would a cultural trail be versus a stadium? I mean, I'm not saying.
I
In
mean,
terms of
I'm
tourism,
not
bring it
doing
back
that
to
to Bob,
tourism, right?
to
So-
bash Bob. I'm just saying,
That's true.
each have been behind a public works, major investment. Mary?
Well, I do agree with Danielle. I don't live in the city, but I was impressed when Bob came and spoke at the Rotary Club of Hagerstown, and same with David. I think that they both did a great job kind of laying out their vision for the future of the city of Hagerstown. And what I like about Bob is that he just shoots straight, and it's sort of reflective of the national election almost. I think that people are kind of sick of the dodging the questions or sort of beating around the bush, and I feel like Bob just sort of shoots straight and tells you like he sees it, and I think a lot of people like that, and that
Okay.
seems to be popular for this election.
Aaron?
So this year is the first year that the mayoral election is nonpartisan. And so people can't vote straight party line for the mayor. Now it's clear which side each one of them is on, but it'll be interesting to see when people actually have to make that decision. My only worry is that, and again, I don't live in the city, so I don't have a horse in this race, but my own concern is that if we elect Bob Rucci, Hagerstown will get we're going backwards, not forwards, and we have that good old boy connotation.
But
out
is
here
that
in Western
mentality
Maryland.
just because he was a former mayor and had already served?
Yeah, I do agree with you. I agree that that is a possibility, but I don't really think it would be fair to say that. I
Right.
totally understand where you're coming from, though. It seems like David is, I don't know if it has to do with age or what, but it's almost like he's on the cutting edge, and Bob, like you said, it might be sort of like we're stepping back in time, but I don't know if that's fair to
Ron?
say.
You've been sitting there quiet, and I'm waiting for the.
As goes the national election, so may go the city of Hagerstown. If you have the Republicans winning, you're going to see a strong showing by Brucci. And I think if you do, with the campaigns they both won, and should he win, if he got out of the past, came into the future, and dealt with some of the new issues that we're dealing with. I don't mind talking about raising taxes, but Brucci had the same opportunity with the tax differential to lower the city taxpayers' rate, and they chose not to do it. So I wouldn't criticize Geisbert's for raising taxes because
Right.
the county cut city taxes. So,
All right.
but I do think that with what both of them, I'm happy with both guys. You
Okay,
probably
so
wouldn't hear me
you're on
say
the
that.
fence with either one.
I'm on the fence, but I think there's good opportunity with either Brucci or Geisbert moving forward for the city of
Okay,
Hagerstown.
we're nearing time to wrap up the segment. We haven't touched on city council. Okay, and let's see if we can do this kind of real rapid fire here. I want to give kudos to former panelist Emily Keller. I think she's run a
Yes.
tremendous campaign.
She's fabulous.
And Paul Quarterman, I know he's been out there working real hard on things. And now we have some incumbents on the city council also. I'm not sure how it's going to break down. So you have a list right in front of you.
I do.
Okay.
I came prepared.
You're a good Girl Scout there. Okay. So we have Chris Alshire. We think he's going to be reelected quickly.
Yes.
I think
Thumbs up,
so.
He's
thumbs
on my
down?
list.
Thumbs up.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. We just, Paul, Emily.
I think Emily is wonderful, and I knew her a little bit before just through Rotary, but I watched the City Council Forum on HMTV6. I love that it was live streamed, and she just handled herself so well. I mean, totally professional. I was really impressed with her, and some of the other people I wasn't so impressed with, and they were older than her and have more
Part of her platform
experience.
is addressing the drug issue within the city of Hagerstown, which
that's
I
near
think
and
is
dear to
really
her heart.
important. Really important.
Yeah.
Dot McDonald Klein.
I don't think
Not for me.
she's not going to
Okay.
win.
Sweet, but-
Lou Messner, he's currently on the council, and as is, let's see,
Don Munson.
Penny Nye. We have Don Munson, Carlos Reyes, and Aaron Smith running. What do you think? Do you think the Republican, if I know it's nonpartisan, okay,
Right. Kinda like
but
the
I
elephant
think
in the room.
the elephant in the room is okay.
Or donkey.
If Brucey is successful, do you think it's going to tend to have more conservative individuals being elected to the city council, or do you think that has no play in it? Ron, you're sort of
I look at all of them, and I couldn't pick out a Democrat or Republican between all of them that are running, seriously. I mean, there will be two, in my opinion, there will be two new city councilmen
okay.
on the 9th day of November. Two new ones.
Okay, you have two new ones. Danielle?
Well, the farther you go down the list, the more dicey it gets for me in terms of making a decision on those candidates.
Fresh
but
faces, yes or no?
I'm definitely going Kristen Alshire, Paul Quarterman, Emily Keller.
Okay. Aaron?
Fresh faces.
Fresh faces. Mary?
Fresh faces.
Okay, I think there's going to be some fresh faces also. And on that, let's roll out. And up next, we're going to do an overview of Maryland and the Chamber of Commerce, and we'll be back in 3 minutes.